going to your brother, and then taking witnesses with you to your brother, and then finally cutting the brother off. He didn't follow that himself when he did this to Mark, and claiming Mark didn't do this to him when he got up to denounce what was going on. Now, mind you, Mark didn't denounce the pastor, he denounced what was going on. He acknowledged the spirit of Jezebel in this conference, right? And it's just things like that. Christians are not holding firm to our faith. We're bowing down, we're getting tricked, we're getting hoodwinked, we're getting led astray. We're being told we're not real Christians if we don't support Israel. We're told we're not real Christians if we don't abide by certain ridiculous worldly things. And it's insane, but that's why you're being tested right now, and you got to keep fighting and keep pushing and keep holding on, even though you're getting squeezed, even though you feel sometimes like you can't breathe. You feel sometimes like you can't think. You feel sometimes like you just want it all to be over with. You pray for the rapture. You're like, come on, get me, God. Take me home, because this I can't deal with anymore. I feel that way a lot, unfortunately. But I know Jesus is coming one day, and I pray that I'm on that, and his number that gets to go back with him. So we have to keep our faith, and we have to continue to reflect on our journey, and we got to adhere to the words of prophets and apostles like Paul, like James, and invest ourselves in our faith and keep pushing forward in our lives, and know that God is there for us. He ain't here to make it all easy, but he is here to put the salve on your wounds as you fight the battles that we are having to fight, right? Now, with that aside, I wanted to say, hey, the other day, what was it, Saturday, I was supposed to get this video out before that, but Saturday was my anniversary with my club. I've been with my club for some time, and that was a big day for me. I have been looking forward to this date for, years, because it's a special day for me. And the day came, and, I embraced it wholly, because it was life-changing for me to join this club. When I became a Christian, the Lord stripped a lot away from me. Well, actually, let me rephrase that. Before I became a Christian, the Lord stripped a lot of stuff away from me. I was into some nonsense and knuckleheadedness, and so I needed to be made bare and naked, and I mean that figuratively, obviously, but I needed to be made bare and naked. I put too much value in a lot of things that I shouldn't, and it caused me to lose some things of value in my life, and I ended up living in a place literally in the desert, and alone. And God picked apart all those things that I had placed value in and stripped them from me one by one, until I was down to just one thing, and that was my motorcycle. At the time, it was my Dyna, which is parked on the other side of my house. I had that Dyna, and it always had a tank of gas. I might not have had any money for anything else, but I always had some gas to go and do what I needed to do for him on that bike. And I hung around with another crew for a minute, a motorcycle ministry, and things didn't work out there. And now I understand things weren't supposed to work out there. It wasn't supposed to work out there, because that's not where God intended me to be. intended me to be in the club I'm in right now. And so I ended up out of that club, started, I had a bunch of guys that, were tight with me. We started to form another club. And then I was like, getting instruction and advice from the founder of the club I'm in now. And I started to think, what am I doing? Why am I, trying to recreate something that's already been created? And our founder gave me the opportunity to become a member of this club. And I prayed on it, and I believe firmly God directed me here to where I am with the Forgotten Few. And that was a great moment. I was so proud to become a member of the Forgotten Few. I badged up right away. I embraced it wholeheartedly and began to learn the ways of Forgotten Few. I began to learn the ways of what we call being God's outlaw. Christians who are outlaw. Three-piece patch wearing Christians who stand for God, family, and brotherhood, who stand for traditional MC protocol, who stand for living by our word. That's what I signed up for, and that's what I've been fighting to hold on to since I became a member. And the other members that are in the club are all about that same business. Now, we all come from different walks of life, but our club, it's all about that, being God's outlaw, fighting to defend the word of God, fighting to defend our right and our place in heaven and our faith. And we will fight for that to the bitter end. Being God's outlaw for us doesn't mean we're fighting over any territories. We don't care about who runs California. We don't care about who runs Arizona. We don't care about who runs Nevada. What we care about is who's sitting on the throne in heaven. And that's the guy I want to get close to. I want to get close to the one sitting on the throne in heaven. I could care less who's sitting on the seat of the big MC, right? I can care less about who's sitting on the seat of this or that organization. I care about my God. And so if it's in alignment with what he has us to do, I'm cool with it. If it goes against what he is to have us to do, I'm not cool with it. And we don't rock that way. So, a lot of times I hear people say, well, how are you an outlaw if you're a Christian? You can't be an outlaw. You can't be a 1%er. You're a Christian. Well, if you know anything about people in the Bible, they were in fact outlaws and what would have been considered 1%ers of their days. So you can't say that. And then even in today's world, I know people in the big clubs, the dominant clubs around here. We got several huge clubs in Southern California who are Christians. You might see some guy out, he might even have, an indication that he's a Christian on his cut. Are you going to say because this guy's got a Christian symbol on that he's not an outlaw or a 1%er? Are you going to say that the club he's in is not outlaw or 1%er because they have Christians in the club? Come on now, let's be honest with ourselves. That makes no sense. And we all know that, right? Because otherwise you'd be contradicting yourselves and you'd have to accept the term hypocrite by saying if you're Christian, you can't be outlaw, you can't be 1%er, because what you're implying is that to be an outlaw, to be a 1%er, is exactly what you say 1%ers and outlaws are not, which is criminals. So if they're criminals, if that's what it means to be outlaw, you have to be a criminal, then I guess I'm not an outlaw because I'm not a criminal. But we know that's not the case. So that's a stupid argument I'm not going to entertain. We can have another debate or discussion some other time. But the point is, I came to this club as embracing the philosophy, the understanding of being one of God's outlaws, fighting for the kingdom, fighting to grab brothers and pull them in to the soldierhood, become soldiers for the Lord, to to fight for what's right and do the right thing. That's what we're here for, and I've been doing that since I joined my club. And so I got to celebrate that. Man, we've made a lot of memories over the years. Rides across country, riding in the snow, riding in the hail, brothers' bikes breaking down, you know, having a good time. A couple summers ago, I took a trip across country pretty much by myself. I met up with a couple prospects once I got to the other side. But that was one of the greatest experiences of my life. And I was doing the ride for my club. So doing that kind of thing, getting out there, being seen, having fun, catching wind, all of that is beautiful. And those memories, I don't trade them for anything. I look to make many, many more as I continue on my journey with the Forgotten Few. And I know that God has a lot in store for us. We've had members who've come in the past say, God brought me here. And then they call you up and they say, I got some bad news. I have to turn in my patch. I have to turn in my cut. You talk to them and they say, yeah, God's leading me in a different direction. I believe if God's leading you in a different direction, God never led you this way. God's not flim-flammy. The Bible tells us, let your yes be a yes and your no be a no. You can't be lukewarm. You get spit out. So people that talk that nonsense, they're just full of nonsense. That's exactly what it is. So, we've had a lot of those people come and go over the years. And it's unfortunate, but it's fortunate because we know that when the battle gets real for Christians, you're going to want solid individuals who are battle tested, who are proven, spiritually proven, who are going to stand true to the fight and going to be shoulder to shoulder with you, fighting in this battle, right? Against spiritual wickedness, right? In high places. So it is what it is. But that has been my journey with this club, and I'm so glad to have met another anniversary, and I look to many, many more with the Forgotten Few. I love my brothers, my familia, God, family, brotherhood. That's what we stand for. If you're interested in a club like this, trust me, hit me up, let me know. We can make it happen, but you got to do some work. So with that being said, I wanted to share one other thing with you, which is actually kind of sad for me. It's an unfortunate thing. I can't sing praise and celebrate on this because it's a major illness in my family. My mother, she's really my stepmother, but she's pretty much my mother. My father and my mother, my biological mother, divorced when I was a little kid. I was like in maybe first grade or something. And my dad and my stepmom married right after that. And they've been together ever since, over 40 years, 45 years, whatever it is. And she's sick now. She's been a little bit ill for a while. She had kidney failure, so she's been on dialysis. She was receiving treatment 3 days a week for over 10 years. And recently she started having some issues. She had to go into the hospital. They got her together. They saw some stuff they thought would look a little funny, and so they did some more testing and sent her home. But then she had to come back because the problem she had brought her right back, and they continue with doing more probing and testing. And they found out that she has uterine cancer, renal cancer, and stomach cancer. The worst part about it is they telling us there's nothing they can do for her at this point. It's not something they can do surgery on. It's not something that radiation can handle or chemo can handle. So they basically have given her a death sentence. But I know that God is the greatest healer. I know that God can heal all illness, all manner of illness. So I hold out faith. The words in Psalms 41 tells us that the Lord sustains us on our sick beds and restores us from our bed of illness. And so if he's able to maintain us and restore us during our sicknesses, our illnesses, I have to have faith that he can do this with my mother. Maybe he doesn't do it. I can't make God do anything. I can only ask. And when God doesn't do it, I shouldn't feel like I need to hate God like some people do. I just have to say this is part of his plan. It wasn't his plan to heal her. It wasn't within his plan to do something else with her life. It was in his plan that she acquire these diseases, that these diseases do what they do, and that she go on to the next life. I don't feel like I have mixed emotions because you're losing someone you love, but I gotta trust God and trust in what it is that he wants for us, and trust in God's word that he's faithful and that he can always work a miracle. So if that's the case, I will embrace that wholeheartedly. I will jump for joy, and I would be so glad that God spared her life. But if he doesn't, I will know and I will understand that is a part of the bigger picture. It's a part of his bigger plan, and that it's something that needed to happen. If he were to spare her life, maybe there's a ripple effect that affects something else. And so by taking her life, it eliminates that ripple. And, it's tragic, it's painful, but I'll trust in knowing that I'll see her again someday. So I'm sad for my dad and my sisters, but my dad mostly, because they've been together so long. She's everything to him. They've taken care of each other. He's got his issues, she's got her issues, and they kind of had this symbiotic relationship. They take care of one another. It's not like she's taking care of him or he's taking care of her. It's a mutual thing. And they trash talk each other, and they do the funny things. I find it humorous when she talks trash to him and puts him in his place. But only his wife can do that. She's the only one that could really humble him sometimes. And I used to get a kick out of watching it, when she would check him on his stuff. But now he might be moving on in life without her. And I pray that he doesn't quit the fight, that he doesn't give up, because his best friend, his lover, his partner, his ride or die chick, his wife, all these things that person has left us. I hope he doesn't give in to the fight and leave us too. He had a stroke last summer. So he's been battling back from that. And he's a knucklehead, didn't want to go to therapy. She had to yell at him, make him do stuff. Now it's the other way around. He's got to get at her to make her do her thing. So, I'm asking for the YouTube community, the Christian community, all those who know me, who follow this channel, to pray for my family. Pray for me, pray for my father, my sisters, my mother, that God see it in his plan to heal her. And if he doesn't see it in his plan to heal her, that he gives my father the strength to continue on. And so with that, I leave you guys. God bless. I love all the followers. I hope this channel grows. I gotta be more active, I know. But hopefully you guys will stay with me and we can take this journey into the next decade, 20 years, 30 years, whatever it is, together. And until the next time, keep them wheels rolling and them cigars smoking. Talk to you later.